Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Project 2020 Nightly News. My name is Chris, otherwise known on Twitter and Instagram as @CRT_Sportscards. But here we are, October 13th, 2020. It is not Friday the 13th, but it is Tuesday the 13th. And because of that, we get two new cards in Project 2020. First up today is going to be Efdot with his Mariano. Some say, myself included, this is the worst card in Project 2020. Not Efdot's card, but the Mariano card in and of itself is the most difficult card to work with and the most boring card. So it's going to be very interesting to see what Efdot comes up with for this card. And then we had Ermsy release his Willie Mays. And remember, with Ermsy, he put out his cards, or he produced his cards months before Project 2020 released. So where a lot of these artists are working in the moment with these cards, all of Ermsy's cards were produced months and months ago. But before we talk about those two and pick my favorite of the day, we are going to talk about the 6 print runs that got announced today. And before we talk about the numbers, let's be real here. This is what we should have expected. But let's take a look at where the 6 print runs landed and then recap on the backside. A couple of things to note here for the week as a whole. 4 print runs of the 10 under 2,000. This is going to continue to put pressure on cards between $1,500 and $1,999. But zeroing in on the last 6 print runs, the surprises are going to be the Fucci Bob Gibson $1,898, the Mark McGwire $1,800, and Dwight Gooden $1,995. But ask yourself here, are they really surprises? When you really think about it, and then you look at like Keith Shore's Jackie Robinson, 2.7K, and then the Tyson Beck Mike Trout, 7.6K. The cards are printing where they should based on the artist and then the card. We are nearly at card number 300. We're not having someone wake up today and go, I'm going to go buy 50 Rochester cards and have them be multiplied by 10, 12, 15 customers. We are in a very specific time period with this set, and people are buying what they like and what they're collecting. So when we see Jacob Rochester, Matt Taylor, Old Man Allen, all of these cards drop under 2,000, it's not really a surprise. It's what should be expected considering the print runs are now falling under 2,000. On the flip side, we are selling cards very well of artists we really like. Tyson Beck and Keith Shore. We also have Ben Baller coming out this week. That's going to sell, again, a big number. We also, I believe, again, have Blake Jameson with his Jeter. That's going to sell a lot of cards. So right now at card 300, if you are an artist that's selling a lot of cards, they are going to sell a lot of cards. We're all of a sudden not going to have a Blake Jameson card sell at $1,500. That's just not going to happen. But we're also not going to have a Rochester card sell at $4,000. We're just not there anymore. So the numbers fell where they should, considering it is October 13th and we are just 12 short weeks from the end of this set. But now let's talk about a little more lighthearted subject, and let's talk about the cards that released today. And by the way, if you want this shirt, jump onto Efdot's website. You can pick up this shirt. I think it's like $35. So definitely go do that if you are a fan of Efdot. But here we are. This is his Mariano. And as I said at the beginning, this is the most difficult card to work with in this set. And I really think, and this is my immediate thought when I saw this card, Efdot took this card head on and ran with it. And here again, we have 2 Marianos. But what were Mariano's cards before this and then Efdot's? We saw Efdot most recently with that Roberto Clemente. Before that, the great card of Ricky. And then we saw him with his War Machine Mike Trout. Mariano, on the other hand, has had a difficult last 3 cards. Very low print runs and controversy. The Double Grotesque, the Natural, and the Matt Taylor. But for right now, Mariano is going to escape the low print run because of that recent McGwire. But I like this Efdot card, and the reason why it's my favorite of the day is because he took it head on and he ran with it, and you've got Mariano running out of the field, also looking down at his rookie year. So when you think about where the card started at back in, I don't know, 20, 30 years ago, to where the card is now in the vision of Efdot, I thought it was a really, really nice interpretation. And the great thing here is there are 4 to 5 Easter eggs in this card. I haven't even looked at the card in depth as far as what little things are in there, but we know what we get with Efdot, and this is a great looking Mariano for Project 2020. And then rounding out the second card on the release schedule for Tuesday, we have this Willie Mays by Ermsy. And at this moment in Project 2020, we know what we're going to get with Ermsy. And here again, though, we do have a card without a face. So it's not like Fucci where the face is sort of just plain and not there. This is an activity or an event happening from the face of the player, and I thought it was a really neat interpretation of Willie Mays. But how do we get here with Willie Mays, and what were Ermsy's most recent releases in Project 2020? For Ermsy himself, we had him most recently with that double Yankee Don Mattingly, and then before that it was Nolan Ryan, and then before that it was the split in half Cal Ripken Jr. On Willie Mays, we had a very clean and classic Natural as his last release. Before that, it was the Mr. Cartoon, and then before that, it was the guitar playing Willie Mays from Keith Shore. So while this is not my favorite card of the day, the fans have spoken and made this card the #1 selling card on eBay after about 8 to 9 hours of being available for a pre-order. This Willie Mays has sold 20 copies compared to just 12 on the Efdot. So when you take a look at print run projections, you take a look at everything from last week, where can these cards fall? You're probably looking right now at 2.2, 2.5, 2.6. It's really hard to say at the moment just because of everything shifting in the set, but we do know one thing with these two artists and these players, but more importantly, the artists. Both of these artists are top selling artists in the set, regardless of where they are in the ranking on the website. These two artists from Efdot to Ermsy can move a needle and can draw a result. So I would not be surprised to see both of these cards come in high when you think of like the Keith Shore, Jackie Robinson. And then touching back on the two cards from Monday, on that George Brett by Andrew Thiel, my card of the day, that is sold 28 copies on eBay as of 8 o'clock tonight, and the Grotesque Frank Thomas, just 10 copies. So when you see a Mark McGwire from Rochester coming in at 1,800 and other cards under 2,000, I right now would not be surprised to see at least one of these cards finish under 2,000, maybe even two, but we will see. Hopefully you all have a great evening, and I'll see you back tomorrow night. And while you're here, please hit that subscribe button so you are notified the moment I post up a video every single weekday night.